Lyra had made many mistakes in her 3 years aboard the Wandering Star, but teaching a pack of Kravik cubs about human bedtime rituals was rapidly climbing to the top of that list. The observation deck hummed with the soft vibration of the ship's engines as Lyra attempted to finish her nightly reports. Her datapad cast a pale blue glow across her face, illuminating the dark circles beneath her eyes. She'd been awake for 19 hours straight, managing the xenobiology wing after Dr. Chen's unexpected illness. All she wanted was to collapse in her quarters and sleep for a week. Lyra Mother. She winced at the title. The cubs had started calling her that 2 months ago, shortly after she'd begun caring for them when their actual mother, Ambassador Threknor, had departed for the peace negotiations on Terminus 7. Lyra had protested the designation repeatedly, but Kravik Young imprinted fast and thoroughly. Seko bounded into the observation deck, his midnight black fur rippling with barely contained energy. At 4 months old, he was already the size of a terrestrial lion. With crystalline eyes that reflected light like a cat's, and retractable claws that could shred titanium. Behind him trotted his 6 siblings, a cascade of fur, fangs, and unbridled enthusiasm. Seko, it's late, Lyra said, not looking up from her datapad. You should be in the nursery with caretaker Grix. Grix is sleeping, Seko announced proudly. We made him very tired with our pouncing practice. Lyra's eyes snapped up. You knocked out your caretaker? No. Seko's ears flattened apologetically. He said he needed to rest his eyes. We were very good and quiet. Lone. Lover body. Lover body. Lover body. Lover body. Unquiet. The definition of quiet was clearly lost in translation. Lyra pinched the bridge of her nose, feeling a headache building behind her temples. The Kravik were apex predators from a death world where everything, including the plants, actively tried to kill you. Their young were born ready for combat. The fact that they'd accepted her authority at all was a minor miracle that xenobiologists across the galaxy were still trying to understand. Lyra Mother looks tired, observed Mira, the smallest cub, tilting her head. Are you going to do the tucking ritual? Lyra's heart sank. 3 weeks ago, she'd made the catastrophic error of telling the cubs a bedtime story. She'd described how human children were tucked in at night, with blankets and gentle words and the promise of safety until morning. The cubs had been fascinated, demanding to know every detail of this strange human custom. I'm just going to finish this report and then... You need tucking, Seko declared, his tail lashing with certainty. You told us humans need tucking when they are tired. You are very tired. We can see your energy light dimming. That was another unsettling Kravik ability, their capacity to perceive bioenergy fields. Exhaustion was literally visible. That's not exactly how it works, Lyra began. But 7 cubs were already moving with predatory coordination, circling her like she was prey. She'd seen this behavior during feeding time. It never ended well for the synthetic training dummies. We will tuck you, Mira chirped excitedly. We are very good at piling. Wait. No. But Kravik cubs did not wait. Seko lunged first, 100 kilograms of muscle and fur landing squarely in Lyra's lap, nearly knocking the wind from her lungs. Before she could protest, Mira draped herself across Lyra's shoulders like a living scarf. The others followed in rapid succession, each finding a spot on, around, or near Lyra until she was completely buried beneath a purring, rumbling pile of alien predators. She couldn't move. She could barely breathe. And yet, the warmth was oddly comforting, the rhythmic purring almost hypnotic. The cub's combined body heat created a cocoon that seeped into her aching muscles. We are tucking you down, Seko announced from somewhere near her left shoulder, his voice vibrating through her ribcage. Now, you are safe. Nothing can harm Lyra Mother while we guard her sleeping. I can't sleep like this, Lyra managed to wheeze, though even as she spoke, her eyes were growing heavy. I'm being crushed. Humans are very fragile. Mira agreed solemnly from her position draped across Lyra's head. But we are being gentle. See? You are not broken. The low bar for success was almost funny. Lyra tried to summon the energy to extricate herself, to explain proper human sleeping arrangements, to do literally anything except surrender to the inevitable. But the cubs were warm, and their purring was like a lullaby, and she was so impossibly tired. Just, for a minute, she murmured, her datapad slipping from her fingers. Seko's rumbling purr intensified with satisfaction. "We are very good at tucking," he informed his siblings. "Lyra mother is already entering rest mode. Our technique is superior." The other cubs murmured agreement, adjusting their positions to more evenly distribute their weight. To any observer, it would have looked like a death sentence, a lone human crushed beneath a pile of apex predators. But the cubs were careful, instinctively aware of exactly how much pressure the fragile human could withstand. When caretaker Grix finally woke and came searching for his charges 3 hours later, he found them in the observation deck. 7 Kravik cubs lay protectively around and atop the human xenobiologist, their combined bulk forming an impenetrable fortress. Lyra slept more deeply than she had in weeks, snoring softly, her face peaceful for the first time since the cubs had come aboard. Grix, a 4-armed Thexian with decades of experience, simply shook his head and quietly backed out of the room. Some things, he'd learned, were best left undisturbed. Besides, he'd never seen the cubs so content, so perfectly settled. In the morning, when Lyra finally woke, she found herself still pinned beneath the sleeping cubs. Her back was stiff, her legs were numb, and she desperately needed to use the bathroom. But she was also completely rested for the first time in months. Seko's eye opened, fixing her with a satisfied, crystalline stare. "Good morning, Lyra mother," he rumbled. "You slept 13.4 hours. We kept you very safe. Tonight, we tuck again?" Lyra groaned. She really should have seen this coming. But as she looked at the 7 earnest faces surrounding her, each cub radiating pride at their successful tucking, she couldn't quite bring herself to say no. "Maybe," she conceded. "But next time, we discuss weight distribution first." Seko's purr of triumph could be heard 3 decks away.